Don't jump. I'll show you something way more interesting. That's what the woman in the red dress said to me as I stood on the edge of the rooftop. She saved my life, only to drag me into a deeper abyss. The rain just kept coming down, a relentless drizzle that matched the gloom that had settled over my life. My name is Leo Miller. I'm 23 and a total failure. I'd lost my job, my girlfriend left me, and the last of my savings were cleaned out by a scammer yesterday. Standing on the roof of this Chicago high-rise, watching the river of headlights on the street below, I suddenly felt like this world had nothing left for me. The wind was strong, whipping my jacket against me. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and prepared to take that final step. "Hey there, handsome. Where are you off to in such a rush?" A light, breezy voice popped up behind me, laced with a playful, almost careless tone. I spun around. A woman was leaning against the doorframe to the roof, holding a bubble tea and stirring the boba with her straw. She was beautiful, but not in a pure, innocent way. Her beauty had an edge, a sense of danger you couldn't quite name. Long black hair was draped casually over her shoulders. Her eyes were large and bright, but there was something unreadable hidden in their depths. She wore a red dress, a slash of defiant color against the gray, rainy sky. What are you doing here?" I stammered, instinctively taking a few steps back from the ledge. "Me?" She blinked, a sweet smile spreading across her face. "Just passing by. Saw someone about to get into extreme sports and thought I'd come watch." "Watch?" She seriously called it watching. I glared at her, a hot flare of anger rising in my chest. "Do you have any idea what I was about to do?" "Of course," she said, chewing on her straw as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "Jump. I'm not blind." But she took a few steps closer, her bright eyes locking onto mine. "Are you sure you want to die? Once you're dead, it's all gone. No more good food, no more interesting things to see, no more interesting people to meet. Like me, Besides," she continued, her tone as casual as if she were discussing the weather, "this way of dying is so unoriginal. Jumping off a building, splat, and it's over. How boring. If it were me, I'd choose a much more interesting way to go like." She leaned in close to my ear, her voice dropping to a whisper, "Like getting even with every single person who ever hurt me, one by one. Make them taste a little of what they put me through. Then maybe I'd think about checking out." A shiver ran down my spine. I couldn't tell if it was from her words or the faint scent of her perfume. What are you talking about?" "Nothing," she said, pulling back, that harmless smile returning to her face. "I just think that before you die, you should at least experience the thrill of revenge. After all, you put up with so much crap while you were alive." I stared at her, a strange feeling churning in my gut. This woman, who was she, and why did her words sound so tempting? "Oh, right." She clapped her hands together as if remembering something. "Are you hungry? I know this amazing ramen joint nearby. Want to go? My treat." "What?" I couldn't keep up with her. "Weren't you just talking me into getting revenge?" "Well, but you need a full stomach to get proper revenge," she said matter-of-factly. "Besides, plotting on an empty stomach gives you an ulcer." I looked at her completely serious face, and, for the first time in what felt like a month, I laughed. "You're really weird." "Weird?" She tilted her head, thinking, "I think I'm pretty normal. You're the one standing on a rooftop about to jump. That's weird." With that, she turned and walked toward the door, glancing back at me. "So, are you coming? Or are you going to stay up here and catch a cold?" I looked at the ledge, then back at her. In the end, I followed her. Her name was Chloe Vance, 25, a freelance designer. At least, that's how she introduced herself. The ramen shop was small but cozy. The owner was a friendly middle-aged guy who clearly knew Chloe well. "Chloe, bringing a new friend today?" he asked with a warm smile. "Yep, this is Leo, a friend I just made." She introduced me casually, then turned to me. "2 bowls of the signature ramen, with an extra egg." "You got it." While we waited, Chloe propped her chin on her hands and studied me. "So spill. Why'd you want to die?" "Bad breakup. Lost your job. In debt." She was direct, but her tone was so light it was like she was asking what I'd had for breakfast. I was quiet for a moment before finally letting it all out. All of the above, I guess. Job's gone, girlfriend's gone, and I got scammed out of the rest of my money. It feels like the whole world is against me. Chloe nodded. "That does suck. But She leaned in a little closer, a strange glint in her eye. Have you thought about getting back at them? You know, the guy who scammed you, the girlfriend who dumped you. I looked at her, feeling a little uneasy. Why do you keep bringing up revenge? Because it's fun, she said with a sweet smile that sent a chill down my spine. Just think about it. If the people who hurt you got a taste of their own medicine, wouldn't you feel a little better? I've never really thought about it like that. That's because you're too nice. She reached out and gently brushed her fingers against my cheek. Nice people always get hurt because they don't know how to fight back. Her hand was cool, but her touch was soft. I should have pulled away, but for some reason, I didn't move. Ramen's here. The owner's voice cut through the strange tension. Chloe casually pulled her hand back and dug in her noodles. I picked up my chopsticks, but I noticed my hand was trembling slightly. This woman, who the hell was she? By the way, Chloe said midway through her meal, where are you staying now? I hesitated. My lease was up. I've been sleeping in my car. In your car. She frowned. That's no good. Horrible for your back. Tell you what, I have a spare room. You can crash at my place for a while. What? I stared at her, shocked. We just met. You're going to let me stay at your place. Why not? She shrugged. The room's just sitting empty. Besides, her voice dropped, and her eyes took on that dangerous glint again. I find you very interesting. My heart started to pound, whether from nerves or something else, I couldn't tell. There was an undeniable pull to this woman. I knew she was dangerous, but I couldn't stop myself from wanting to get closer. I don't know if that's a good idea. It's fine. She reached across the table and took my hand. Trust me, I won't hurt you. In fact, I'm going to help you find a reason to live again. Her hand was warm, a complete contrast to the coolness of her touch earlier. I looked into her sincere eyes and finally, I nodded. Maybe this was the salvation I needed. Chloe's apartment was huge, a sleek, modern condo that felt a little cold and impersonal despite the expensive decor. The guest room was on the second floor, with a window overlooking a small garden. It was nice. So, what do you think? She asked, leaning against the doorframe. It's great. Thank you, I said genuinely. I don't know how I can ever repay you. Repay me? She tilted her head. Just talk to me. I live here alone. It gets pretty boring sometimes. Okay, the next few days completely changed my life. Chloe cooked for me. We talked for hours. She took me on walks through the city's parks. She was incredibly observant, always noticing when my mood dipped and finding some way to make me laugh. Leo, she said one night as we were watching a movie on the couch, do you feel like life is a little better now than it was before? Yeah, I nodded. A lot better. If I hadn't met you, I probably would have. Good. She moved a little closer. I just want you to be happy. But her expression turned serious. Do you still think about the people who hurt you? I was quiet for a moment. Sometimes, especially at night when I can't sleep. Do you want to get even with them? I looked at her. Why do you always ask that? Because I care about you. Her hand came up to cup my face. I don't want to see you living in pain. Sometimes a little payback is what a person needs to move on. But that's not right, is it? What's right and what's wrong? Her gaze sharpened. Did they think about what was right when they were hurting you? Her words left me speechless. Anyway, let's not talk about that, she said, suddenly smiling again. Let's watch the movie. I bought the new one with that actor you like. She always did that. Just when I was on the verge of being convinced, she'd changed the subject, leaving her words to marinate in my mind. Slowly, I realized I was becoming more and more dependent on her. When she wasn't around, I felt anxious. When she smiled at me, I felt like the whole world lit up. I knew it wasn't normal, but I couldn't help it. Chloe, I finally worked up the courage to ask one day. What? What are we? She was in the kitchen cooking, and her hands paused for a fraction of a second. What do you want us to be? She asked, turning to face me, an unreadable emotion in her eyes. I don't know. All I know is I can't be without you. She walked toward me and ran her fingers through my hair. Then don't be. I can't be without you, either. Really? Really? She leaned in and kissed my forehead. You're the most special person I've ever met. In that moment, I thought my heart was going to melt. A month later, Chloe said to me, Leo, I found the address of the guy who scammed you. I was drinking my morning coffee and almost choked. What? Why? Why were you looking for him? To help you get justice, of course, she said matter-of-factly. I had a friend look into it. The guy's name is Kevin Davis. He scams people online for a living. You weren't his only victim. But But what? She sat down next to me, her expression serious. He took your money, left you homeless, and pushed you to the brink of suicide. Are you just going to let that go? I fell silent. It was a lie to say I wasn't angry. That money was everything I had. If it hadn't been stolen, I never would have ended up on that roof. I know what you're thinking, Chloe said, stroking the back of my hand. You're worried it's wrong. But sometimes kindness needs to have a limit. Being a doormat just encourages scumbags to be more reckless. So what do you want to do? It's simple, she said, her smile so sweet it was terrifying. We go get your money back. And if he doesn't give it to us, we'll let him see how it feels to be the one who gets played. But trust me, she squeezed my hand. I won't let you do anything illegal. We're just going to use his own tactics against him. In the end, under her persuasion, I agreed. Kevin Davis lived in a condo complex in the suburbs. He was a man in his 30s who looked completely ordinary. He was clearly startled when we showed up at his front door. "Oh, who are you? Kevin Davis, right?" Chloe asked with a sugary smile. "We're here to collect a debt." "A debt? I don't know you." "You don't." I pulled out my phone and showed him our text history. "This is you, isn't it? This profile picture. You told me about an investment opportunity. You scammed me out of $20,000. The color drained from Kevin's face. I don't know what you're talking about." "Still playing dumb?" Chloe's voice turned icy. "We have everything on you. Your real social security number, information on your other victims. What do you think would happen if we handed all of this over to the cops?" Kevin's face was ashen. What do you want?" "Simple," Chloe said, taking a step forward. "Give my friend his money back, and we'll pretend this never happened." I don't have the money." "No money." Chloe let out a cold laugh. "Then how did you afford this condo? That new Mercedes in the parking lot?" Finally, under Chloe's threats, Kevin agreed to pay me back in installments. As we were leaving, my feelings were a complicated mess. "How do you feel?" Chloe asked. I thought for a moment. It feels good, but I also feel uneasy. Why uneasy? I feel like we were threatening him. So what? Chloe stopped walking and looked at me seriously. How many innocent people has he threatened? How many people's life savings has he stolen? We just gave him a taste of how it feels to be on the receiving end. But she suddenly wrapped her arms around me, whispering in my ear, "Leo, you have to remember something. In this world, only the strong can protect the people they care about. If you stay nice forever, you'll eventually lose everything, including me." I froze. "What are you trying to say?" "I'm saying I need you to become strong, so you can protect me forever." She pulled away, her eyes full of a soft, pleading light. "Are you willing to become strong for me?" Looking into her expectant eyes, I nodded. For her, I would do anything. After the debt collection incident, Chloe was even more affectionate. She would whisper in my ear, hug me out of nowhere, and look at me with an intensity that made my heart race. "Leo," she said one day, curled up against me on the couch. "You know, before I met you, I thought the world was so boring." "Why?" "Because most people are such hypocrites. They talk about kindness, but deep down they're all selfish. But you're different. You're genuinely good." I don't think I'm that good." "You are," she said, looking up at me. "But good people need to be protected. I want to protect you, and I need you to protect me." "Okay, of course," I answered without hesitation. "So if someone tried to hurt me, what would you do?" I protect you." What if that person was really powerful? What if the normal ways of protecting me didn't work? I looked into her pleading eyes, and a strange impulse surged through me. Then I'd use abnormal methods. She smiled, and it was the most beautiful smile I had ever seen. "I knew you'd say that." She pressed a soft kiss to my lips. "With you by my side, I'm not afraid of anyone." A few days later, Chloe told me she was in trouble. "What kind of trouble?" I asked, my body tensing. "My former best friend," she said, her expression pained. "She's been harassing me. She said if I don't do what she wants, she's going to ruin my life." "What?" I shot to my feet, furious. "Who does she think she is, threatening you like that?" "Because she knows some of my secrets," Chloe said, her head bowed, her voice trembling. "If she tells people, I'll be finished." "What secrets?" I can't say. If you knew, you probably wouldn't like me anymore." Seeing her in such pain felt like a knife twisting in my gut. "No matter what the secret is, I'll never not like you," I said, pulling her into a hug. "Tell me who she is. I'll go warn her." It's no use, she shook her head. She won't listen. And if I make her angry, she might do something even worse. Then what do we do? She looked up at me, her eyes filled with a complex mix of emotions. Unless she could never speak again. My heart hammered against my ribs. What are you saying? I don't know. She shook her head, looking distraught. I just keep thinking if she disappeared, we could be together forever. But that's wrong. I shouldn't be thinking things like that. No, I said, holding her tighter. You're not wrong. If someone is trying to hurt you, they're our enemy. But, no buts. My mind was made up. Tell me who she is and where I can find her. I'll take care of this. She looked at me, her eyes shining with tears of gratitude. Leo, would you really do that for me? Yes, I answered without a shred of doubt. I would do anything for you. She kissed me then, a desperate, passionate kiss that left me breathless. I love you, she whispered against my ear. I love you more than anything. In that moment, I felt like I belonged to her completely and utterly. Chloe's former best friend was named Jessica Reed, a freelance designer. According to Chloe, she was currently putting together a portfolio and often worked late at her studio alone. Are you sure about this? Chloe asked before I left, her voice laced with worry. Yes, I nodded. I can't let her keep threatening you. But what if something happens? Nothing will happen, I said, taking her hand. Trust me. In truth, I was terrified, but seeing the hope in Chloe's eyes erased all my fear. For her, I would face any danger. Jessica's studio was in a converted loft building, the kind that was mostly empty at night. Following Chloe's instructions, I got into the building easily. When I pushed open the studio door, I saw a woman with long hair sorting through design sketches. She looked up at the sound, her eyes widening slightly when she saw me. Who are you? How did you get in here? I'm a friend of Chloe's, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. We need to talk. Chloe, her expression soured. She sent you. She told me you've been harassing her. Harassing her? Jessica let out a bitter laugh. Do you have any idea who she is? Do you know the things she's done? I'm not here to listen to you badmouth her. Badmouth? Jessica stepped closer. Let me tell you, that woman is not who you think she is. She's a complete psycho, a dangerous. I didn't let her finish. I swung, my fist connecting with her jaw. She stumbled back, crashing into a shelving unit. Sketches scattered across the floor. You hit me, she gasped, holding her face, her eyes wide with disbelief. Let me hear you say one more bad thing about Chloe, and it'll be more than just a punch, I threatened. You have no idea what you're doing, Jessica said, scrambling to her feet. That woman will destroy you, just like she destroyed me. She's not normal. I swung again. This time, she went down and didn't get up right away. My eyes fell on the scattered sketches on the floor, and I noticed some of them were strange. See them now, Jessica said, her voice strained. Those are what she made me draw. She said she likes this kind of thing. I picked up a few of the sketches. A cold dread washed over me. They were filled with grotesque, violent, and twisted imagery. When were these made? You think she really loves you? Jessica mocked. She just thinks you're a fun little project. Once she gets bored, you'll see her true colors. Shut up. Don't you dare talk about her like that. But looking at those drawings, an unspeakable dread began to bloom in my chest. When I got home, Chloe was waiting for me on the sofa. She shot up the moment I walked in, her eyes full of concern. Well, is it taken care of? Yeah, I guess. I answered, my mind elsewhere. What's wrong? You seem distracted. She came over, studying my face. Did she say something to you? It's nothing. I hesitated, but I had to ask. Chloe, what was really going on between you and Jessica? Her expression froze for an instant, and a dangerous light I'd never seen before flashed in her eyes. Just as quickly, it was gone, replaced by her usual expression. Why do you ask? What did she tell you? She said you're not who I think you are. What else did she say? Her voice had grown colder. She called you a psycho. My gaze met hers, and I saw some of her design sketches. Chloe was silent for a long time. Then, she started to laugh. It was a sound that filled me with a primal fear. I see, she said slowly. She showed you the drawings. Those drawings, are they real? Do you want to know the truth? She walked toward me, her eyes glinting strangely. Do you really want to know what kind of person I am? I nodded. I was terrified, but I had to know. All right then, she said, suddenly pulling me into a hug, her lips brushing against my ear. I'll tell you, Jessica was right. I'm not normal. I love watching people suffer. I love controlling their lives. I love taking good, kind people and turning them into monsters just like me. I tried to push her away, but her grip was like iron. Do you know why I saved you? She continued. Because I could tell at a glance that you were a good person. And good people are the easiest to break. I wanted to see just how far a good person would go for love. You're lying. Am I? She released me, a satisfied smile on her face as she took in my horrified expression. Then what do you call what you did tonight? You assaulted an innocent woman. You threatened her. Is that your definition of good? I was trembling from rage or fear, I couldn't tell. But her voice suddenly turned gentle again. The one thing I didn't lie about was loving you. I do love you. I'm desperately in love with you. And because I love you so much, I want to make you just like me. That way, we can be together forever. I will never be like you. Oh, she tilted her head. Then why did you go threaten Jessica tonight? Why did you hit her? Was it out of some sense of justice? No, it was because you love me. For me, you've already done things you never would have done before. I wanted to argue, but I couldn't. She was right. For her, I had already crossed so many lines. So, she said, stroking my cheek, do you still want to leave me? I looked at her beautiful, dangerous face, and my heart was a tangled mess of conflicting emotions. Fear, obsession, anger, and love. I don't know. That's okay. She smiled gently. Take your time. It doesn't matter, anyway. I'm never going to let you go. In the days that followed, it was as if Chloe had completely dropped her mask. She no longer hid her true nature. But strangely, I didn't feel scared. Instead, I found myself even more obsessed with her. Leo, she said one morning, curled up against me. You know, Jessica texted me yesterday. What did she say? She said she's going to the police, Chloe said with a little laugh. Said you assaulted and threatened her. My heart leaped into my throat. What are we going to do? Do? She looked up at me, that dangerous glint back in her eyes. We're going to make her shut up, of course. Ow! Simple, she said, tracing my lips with her finger. We'll show her the consequences of crossing me. But this time, I want you to come with me. What? Scared. Her eyes filled with disappointment. And here I thought you'd finally changed. Seeing that look on her face hurt more than anything. No, I'm not scared, I said, pulling her into a tight embrace. For you, I'm not afraid of anything. She smiled, a look of pure satisfaction. I knew you'd say that. You're the best, Leo. That night, we went to Jessica's apartment together. Chloe had prepared a bag of things, including some strange vials and tools I didn't recognize. What are those? I asked. Just some fun little toys, she said with a mysterious smile. Things that make people tell the truth. When Jessica saw us at her door, her face went white. What? What are you doing here? I've already called the police. The police. Chloe pushed past her into the apartment. Perfect. Then we can tell them all about what you've done. What I've done? I haven't done anything. Nothing. Chloe pulled a small digital recorder from her purse. Then how do you explain this recording? The one where you admit to betraying your friends, selling secrets, and getting an innocent person killed. Jessica's face contorted in horror. How? How do you have that? Because I know everything, Chloe said, advancing on her. Did you really think no one knew what you did? Did you think you could just play the victim and point the finger at me? Seeing the terror on Jessica's face, everything suddenly clicked into place. Chloe had never lied to me. Jessica was the real monster. I see, I said, moving to Chloe's side. You were protecting me this whole time, keeping the truth from me. I was afraid it would hurt you, Chloe said, taking my hand. You're so good. I didn't want you to see how ugly the world can be. Tears welled in my eyes. This woman, she had shouldered so much to protect me. Chloe, I'm so sorry. I should have trusted you. It's okay. She looked at me, her expression soft. As long as you know the truth now. In the end, faced with the recording, Jessica caved. She promised to never bother Chloe again and to drop the police report. Watching her flee in disgrace, I felt the thrill of revenge for the first time. After that night, I understood one thing completely. Chloe had never lied to me. She was dangerous, and she wasn't normal, but her love for me was real. Leo, Chloe said, stopping on the sidewalk as we walked home. Do you regret it? Regret what? Meeting me. Falling in love with me. There was a flicker of insecurity in her eyes. If you do, I can make you forget all of this. No. I cut her off without hesitation. I don't regret a single thing. In fact, I'm grateful I met you. But I turned you into someone else. You didn't turn me into someone else, I said, pulling her into my arms. You just opened my eyes to what the world is really like. You taught me how to protect myself and how to protect you. She looked up at me, her eyes shimmering with emotion. You really think so? I know so. Without you, I'd probably be dead. You saved me. You gave me a new life and taught me how to truly live in this ruthless world. Leo. And what's more, I leaned in, my lips brushing her ear. I've discovered I kind of like watching bad people get what they deserve. Being with you. I've never felt happier. She kissed me then, a wild, frenzied kiss full of desperate love. I love you, she whispered against my lips. I love you more than anything. Let's never be apart. Okay. Okay, I answered. Never. A few months later, we moved to a new city to start over. Chloe, in her own way, helped me tie up all the loose ends from my past, including the people who had hurt me. Now this life feels completely normal. I've learned to handle problems the way Chloe taught me, to be tough when necessary. But my love and tenderness for her have only grown. Leo, Chloe murmured one night, nestled in my arms. You know, I never thought I could be this happy. Me neither, I said, stroking her hair. I used to think the world was unfair to me, but now I get it. As long as I'm with you, it doesn't matter if the whole world is our enemy. She said, closing her eyes contentedly. As long as you're here to protect me, I'm not afraid of anything. I will always protect you. I kissed her forehead. No matter what happens, I will never let anyone hurt you. What if one day I do something really terrible? She asked, her eyes opening to look at me. What if I hurt someone innocent? I thought for a moment, then answered honestly. Then I'll help you clean up the mess, and we'll face the consequences together. She smiled, and it was the most genuine, innocent smile I had ever seen on her face. I knew you'd say that. We really are perfect for each other. Of course we are, I smiled back. We're the perfect pair. A psycho, and a man she's completely conquered. Hey, who are you calling psycho? She swatted my chest playfully. I'm just special. All right. You're special, I said, looking at her with all the love in my heart. My very special Chloe. We held each other tightly, feeling the warmth of our shared world. Life in a new city was calmer than I expected. Chloe took on some freelance design projects online, and I found a job as a programmer. On the surface, we looked like any other ordinary couple, but only we knew just how extraordinary our love was. Leo, I have this annoying client today who's trying to get a design for free. Chloe pouted, complaining to me. What are you going to do? I asked, continuing to prep dinner. I'm thinking of teaching him a lesson about respect, she said, a dangerous glint in her eye. Need my help? Nah, I can handle a small fry like him myself. She came up and wrapped her arms around me from behind. But I'm glad you care so much. Of course I care. You're the most important person in the world to me. Me too, she whispered in my ear. Sometimes I think, if you had actually jumped that day, we never would have met. And I might have gone my whole life without ever knowing what real love feels like. Don't say things like that, I said, turning to hold her. We're together now, and we'll be together forever. Right? Forever, she said, hugging me tightly. No matter what happens, we'll face it together. That evening, we watched a movie. Chloe picked a thriller about a woman who commits a series of extreme acts to protect the man she loves. Do you think the main character was right to do those things? Chloe asked me. I think love is inherently selfish, I answered after a moment. If you truly love someone, anything you do to protect them is justified. Chloe smiled, satisfied. I knew you'd say that. We really do think alike. That's because we're one and the same, I said, stroking her cheek. Your thoughts are my thoughts. Your enemies are my enemies. And your happiness is my happiness. Your pain is my pain, she added. Exactly. We looked at each other and smiled, then fell into a deep kiss. Time flew by. In a blink, we had been together for a year. We had been through a lot, but every challenge only made our bond stronger. Leo, I want to show you something, Chloe said one day, a mysterious look on her face. She led me down to the basement of our house, to a room I'd never noticed before. When she opened the door, I saw it was covered in photos and files. "What is all this?" "It's files on every person who ever hurt you," she said calmly, "including their current life situation, their families, where they work." I stared in shock at the photos on the wall. The familiar faces brought back a flood of painful memories. "Why? Why did you investigate them?" "Because I wanted to see how they were doing." She came to my side. "Look, this is your ex-girlfriend. She's with some rich old guy now, living the high life. And this is Kevin Davis, the guy who scammed you. He's scammed several more people and is getting ready to leave the country. What are you planning to do?" "I want them to pay." She turned to face me. "Don't you think it's unfair? They hurt you, ruined your life, and now they're living happily ever after." I was silent for a long time. Finally, I asked, "What's the plan?" "I wanted to taste what real pain feels like. Not killing them, just making them lose what's most important to them." Her eyes were shining with excitement. "Like making your ex-girlfriend lose her sugar daddy. Making sure Kevin's other victims find out who he is before he can run." "Is this okay? Why wouldn't it be?" she said, wrapping her arms around me. "They owe you this. It's payback. And after this, you'll finally be free." I looked into her expectant eyes, and finally, I nodded. "Okay, let's do it together." She kissed me excitedly. "I knew you'd agree. We are so perfect for each other." Over the next few months, we carried out our revenge plan. Chloe was brilliant. Every step she designed was flawless, ensuring no innocent people were harmed and leaving no evidence behind. Watching the people who had hurt me suffer one by one, I felt a pleasure I had never known. "How does it feel?" Chloe asked me. "Incredible," I answered honestly. "Now, I finally understand why you love this feeling." "See, that's the allure of revenge," she said with a triumphant smile. "But the most important thing is, now you belong completely to me." "I always belonged to you." "Yes, but now it's absolute," she said, holding me close. "Because the man you are now can't live without me. Without me, you wouldn't know how to face the world." She was right. I was completely dependent on her now, but I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. In fact, I enjoyed the feeling of being completely possessed by her. After our revenge was complete, our lives became even sweeter. Chloe no longer had to hide anything, and I was no longer conflicted by morality or conscience. We had become partners in crime, and each other's sole reason for being. "Leo," Chloe murmured one morning, lying in my arms. "Let's get married." "Marry?" The idea surprised me. "MHM, I want a ceremony. I want the whole world to know that you're mine," she said, looking at me seriously. "Will you marry me?" "Of course I will," I answered without a second's hesitation. "I wanted to marry you for a long time." "Really?" She sat up ecstatic. "Then let's go buy rings right now." "Now?" I glanced at the clock. "It's only 7 in the morning." "So what?" "I can't wait." She pulled me out of bed. "I want everyone to know that you belong to me, and only me." Seeing her so excited made me laugh. This was the Chloe I loved. Direct, passionate, possessive, and impossibly charming. Our wedding was simple, with only a few friends in attendance. But for us, it was more than enough. What mattered wasn't the size of the ceremony, but the promises we made to each other. "Leo," Chloe said, her voice thick with emotion as we exchanged rings, "I swear to always love you and protect you. Even if the entire world is against you, I will always be on your side. And I swear," I said, looking deeply into her eyes, "to always love you and stand by you. No matter what you do, I will support you unconditionally." She smiled through her tears. "I love you, Leo. This life, the next life, for all of eternity, I will only love you." "Me too, Chloe. I will only ever love you." As we kissed, I felt like the entire universe had aligned into perfect harmony. Married life was even happier than I could have imagined. Chloe became even more tender and considerate. Though she still had that dangerous allure, with me, she was always at her softest. "Honey," she loved calling me that. "This new client wants to meet in person, but I'm getting a weird vibe from him." "Then don't go," I said, not looking up from my work. "Or I'll go with you." "Okay." With my husband here to protect me, I'm not afraid of anything. She came over and wrapped her arms around my shoulders. "You know, ever since we got married, I feel so safe all the time." "Why is that?" Because I know that no matter what happens, you'll be by my side, she whispered in my ear. With you here, I'm never alone, never scared. Silly, I said, taking her hand. We're married. Of course we'll always be together. Yep, always together. She sighed contentedly. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't found you on that rooftop. Then I would probably be dead, and you would still be searching for true love. Impossible, she said firmly. I could never love anyone else, not even if the world ended. My heart only has room for you. Her words sent a wave of warmth through me. Me too, Chloe. In this life, I will only ever love you. What about the next life? We'll be together in the next life, too. And the one after that. The one after that, too, I said, turning to hold her. She beamed. You said it. No takebacks. No takebacks. Never. A year later, Chloe got pregnant. When she told me the news, I was so emotional I almost cried. Really? We're having a baby, MHM, she said, stroking her still flat stomach. Our baby. This is amazing. I picked her up and spun her around. We're going to be parents. Do you think it's a boy or a girl? Either one is perfect, I said seriously. Boy or girl, I'll love them with all my heart. If it's a girl, she'll be beautiful, just like me, Chloe said proudly. If it's a boy, he'll be kind, just like you. What if they're both beautiful like you and kind like me? Then they'd be too perfect, she laughed. But I do hope they inherit our best qualities. What qualities are those? Deeply loving, fiercely loyal, and, she winked, the ability to protect the ones we love. I couldn't help but laugh. How is that a quality? Of course it is, she said seriously. In this cold, heartless world, isn't someone who would do anything for love the most precious thing of all? You're right, I said, kissing her forehead. Our child is going to be so happy because they'll have the best parents in the world. MHM, we'll give them the best of everything, Chloe said, her eyes full of soft, maternal light, including the purest kind of love. 5 years later, we had a beautiful daughter named Sophie. She did indeed inherit our best traits. She was beautiful and smart, and from a young age, she showed an intense protective streak. Daddy, some kids were mean to Mommy today. Sophie came running to me to tattle. What? I asked, alarmed. Who was mean to Mommy? The lady at the farmer's market. She said Mommy was being too picky with the vegetables and had a bad attitude. Sophie said, her little fists clenched. I'm going to go teach her a lesson. Haha, it's okay, sweetie, Chloe said, picking our daughter up. Mommy already took care of it. How did you take care of it? I asked, curious. Simple, Chloe winked. I bought the entire vegetable stand. Now that lady works for me. Sophie and I both stared, our jaws on the floor. Mommy, you're so cool. Sophie looked at Chloe with pure adoration. I want to be cool like you when I grow up. Okay, Mommy will teach you, Chloe said, stroking her daughter's hair. But the most important thing to remember is that we only protect the people we love. We don't bully innocent people. I know, Sophie nodded seriously. I'm going to protect Daddy and Mommy. Watching them together, my heart overflowed with happiness. Leo, Chloe said that night, after we had tucked Sophie into bed and she was lying in my arms. Do you have any regrets? About what? I asked, stroking her hair. About falling in love with a woman like me. About becoming the man you are today. I've told you so many times, I don't regret a thing, I said, looking her in the eyes. If I had the chance to choose all over again, I would still choose you. Even though I'm dangerous, I love you because you're dangerous. I kissed her lips. Anyone can have a normal love story, but a crazy, all-consuming love like ours. You can't find another one like it in the whole world. We're one of a kind, she murmured, closing her eyes. Thank you, Leo. Thank you for showing me what real love is. I should be the one thanking you, I said, holding her tightly. You saved me. You gave me a new life and taught me what it means to truly be alive. Then let's just thank each other, she chuckled softly. Thank fate for letting us meet. Thank each other for never letting go. And thank this beautiful family we've built. Yeah, thank you for everything. Outside, the moonlight poured through the window, bathing us in its soft glow. We held each other, just as we had on that very first day. This was our happy ending.